several sinkholes hidden deep in the mountains. The sinkholes, or heavenly pits in Mandarin.
Curiosity got the best of us when a camera was dropped into the infamous Mels hole, a pit so deep and strange, it's become legend. What was recorded sparked wonder, fear, and a wave of unanswered questions. But what if Mels hole isn't the only place hiding eerie secrets beneath the earth? All over the world, sinkholes have revealed lost forests, bizarre creatures, and ancient remains. Could more like it exist? Join us as we explore 20 weird things scientists have found in sinkholes.
Another mystery buried deep in the hills of eastern Washington. Como 4's Denise Whitaker heads east in search of the hole.
Number 20. Prehistoric jungle of Lai County. Within China's Guangxi region, there is a sinkhole so immense that it's often referred to as a doorway to Earth's long-forgotten past. What made this finding truly extraordinary, however, wasn't just its jaw-dropping size, it was what lay hidden at its bottom. In 2022, scientists lowered themselves into the deep karst pit, a staggering 630 feet deep and as wide as 2 football fields, only to find something that left them speechless: a thriving, untouched prehistoric jungle.
Many years that China contained more cave limestone than the rest of the world put together. So
the ecosystem within this large sinkhole, shielded from the outside world, was a snapshot of Earth as it might have looked millions of years ago. It features gigantic trees, some over 130 feet tall, that reached desperately toward the slivers of light that seeped down from the surface, while dense foliage and plants clung to the cave's moisture-rich environment. For researchers, this was no ordinary find. It was an entirely self-sustaining forest, isolated from modern development and potentially home to species unknown to science. Formed by the dissolution of limestone over generations, this karst sinkhole is a prime example of southern China's signature landscape, but on a truly staggering scale. We've just wandered through China's ancient jungle, a pit brimming with life. But can a desert hole hide creatures so rare they defy the world? Let's slink into Arizona's slimy secret to find out. Number 19. Leech Lair of Montazuma Well. You wouldn't expect a murky sinkhole in the Arizona desert to host creatures found nowhere else on Earth. But Montazuma Well is full of surprises. What looks like a tranquil limestone basin is actually a bubbling evolutionary playground, fed by ancient springs pumping over 1 million gallons daily. Montazuma Well, with its warm, bubbling waters, is far more than a mere desert pond. It is a living laboratory where evolution has taken unexpected turns.
Of this hunter-hunted kind of mentality, and if you look closely, these leeches they'll stay on the bottom and they'll wait and they'll just try to snap.
Biologists have uncovered an astonishing array of life within this seemingly serene basin, including 5 species found nowhere else, such as the bizarre Montobdella montezuma leech. This slippery creature, with no known relatives beyond the rim of the well, is just one of the many life forms that have evolved in complete isolation over thousands of years. The sinkhole formed by the collapse of a limestone cavern has remained ecologically untouched, creating a rare setting where life has adapted in extraordinary ways. Its high levels of carbon dioxide and near-constant temperatures have forced the resident organisms to develop unique survival strategies, thriving in a place where external influences have never touched. Revered by Native American tribes, Montazuma Well isn't just a natural wonder. It's a striking example of how life can forge its own path when left undisturbed. Those wriggling leeches in Arizona's oasis are wild, but what happens when a sinkhole buzzes with wings instead? Fly with us to Mexico. Something feathered and frenzied is calling. Number 18. Parakeet Plunge in Cave of Swallows. Few natural wonders can match the theatrical drama of the Cave of Swallows, where each morning begins with a swirling spectacle of wings and noise. Deep in San Luis Potosi, Mexico, lies one of the world's largest known sinkholes, an amazing vertical shaft plunging over 1,200 feet into the earth, easily deep enough to hide the Statue of Liberty and still have room to spare.
And this is so much bigger than I was even expecting. Oh my God. You can't even see the bottom.
But it's not the depth alone that makes it legendary. It's the airborne residents. Thousands of green parakeets and white-collared swifts have made their homes in the crevices of its limestone walls. At dawn, they erupt from the darkness in coordinated spirals, creating a vortex of feathers that astonishes visitors and ornithologists alike. This feathered exodus isn't just a visual feast, it's a scientific marvel. The birds have adapted to the cave's unique vertical environment, using wind currents and sunlight angles to navigate their treacherous home. The Cave of Swallows was first explored by outsiders on December 27, 1966, when T.R. Evans, Charles Borland, Randy Stearns, and Sid West visited the site. While the local Huastec people had known about the cave for a long time, this was the first documented exploration by non-locals. The first documented descent into the cave was on April 4, 1967. Number 17. Gator Gala in Deep Hole. There's a place in Florida where the laws of the wild take a dramatic turn, and it's called the Deep Hole. Hidden within the wetlands of Xiaoai River State Park, this 130-foot deep, 300-foot wide sinkhole isn't your average geological feature. It's a predator hotspot, a natural arena where over 100 alligators congregate in the dry season.
200 alligators. We might not have seen them all because they can stay underwater for up to 2 hours when they are resting.
Drawn in by the pit's unique ability to trap fish and smaller prey in its steep-sided walls. Since the 1990s, ecologists and rangers have observed this seasonal gator gathering, documenting a rare display of social interaction among the usually solitary reptiles. The sinkhole's steep drop and salty waters make it an ideal feeding ground, transforming it into a reptilian buffet during periods of drought. Researchers using drones and underwater cameras have recorded everything from hunting behavior to unexpected cooperation between the gators. Tourists aren't allowed too close, for good reason. One wrong move, and you're in the middle of a Jurassic showdown. Number 16. Minnow Mirage of Red Lake. At first glance, Croatia's Red Lake looks like a surreal painting. Its walls dyed a deep rust red, its waters ominously still. But beneath that beauty lies a discovery that has left biologists scratching their heads for decades. What scientists found swimming in its depths shouldn't exist, yet it does. This sinkhole is located near the town of Imotski. Red Lake is one of the world's deepest sinkholes, plunging over 800 feet into the earth, with water reaching depths of more than 650 feet. Its steep vertical cliffs are stained blood red by iron oxide deposits, giving the lake its creepy appearance. But it's not just its looks that draw scientists. It's the uninvited guests found below. Red Lake was formed through the slow dissolution of limestone by rainwater, a textbook example of karst topography, yet on a scale few have seen. Over thousands of years, the ceiling of a massive underground cavern collapsed, forming this yawning chasm. In the 1980s, divers equipped with specialized gear ventured into the cold, oxygen-deprived waters. What they discovered shocked them. Tiny, translucent fish flickering through the shadows. These elusive minnows had adapted to thrive in pitch-black conditions with minimal oxygen, raising the question, how did they get here? The generally accepted answer is embedded in the leading theory that a labyrinth of hidden underground tunnels connects Red Lake to other bodies of water. But no one knows for sure. Red Lake remains a mystery box at the heart of Europe, an ancient sinkhole that challenges what we thought was possible for life to endure. Number 15. Sacred Shrine of Senet Cehennem. Buried deep in the limestone hills of southern Turkey is a sinkhole that guards more than geological secrets. It cradles the faded echoes of ancient gods, early Christians, and the forgotten rituals they left behind. Welcome to Senet Cehennem, the twin sinkholes whose very names, heaven and hell, hint at the spiritual paradox within. Located in the Mersin province, the Senet, otherwise known as Heaven, stretches over 800 feet long and more than 300 feet wide. It was born through slow, silent erosion as groundwater carved its way through soluble rock, eventually collapsing into a steep hole now concealed in ivy and mystery. But it's what scientists and archaeologists discovered inside this natural cathedral that defies expectation. While descending the moss-covered stone steps into the abyss, researchers stumbled upon the worn remains of a 5th-century Christian chapel, tucked quietly into the sinkhole's slope. Its crumbling paintings still depict faint outlines of Christ, a hidden tribute to faith under persecution. Even more surprising, fragments of a long-lost temple of Zeus lay nearby, and high above, the names of 130 ancient priests are chiseled into the rock face like an eternal attendance sheet. Thanks to its geological isolation, this sacred space remained largely untouched for centuries, shielded from war, time, and weather. Senit Sehenum isn't just a natural marvel. It's a sinkhole that doubled as a sanctuary and shrine, where gods of myth and messiahs of scripture once shared a subterranean altar beneath the Turkish sun. Number 14. Bat Blitz in Devil's Sinkhole. In the heat of a Texas evening, just as the last rays of sunlight fade over Edwards County, a strange phenomenon begins to unfold, not from the sky above, but from the depths of the earth. Deep within a limestone void known as Devil's Sinkhole, the silence shatters as millions of wings burst into motion, spiraling skyward in a coordinated storm. This isn't folklore, it's one of nature's most dramatic spectacles, and it happens every night. Measuring 328 feet deep and carved through millennia of rainfall eroding porous limestone, Devil's Sinkhole is more than just a cavity in the ground. It's a vertical gateway into one of North America's largest bat colonies. First explored by scientists in the 1970s, this pit revealed more than just geology. Biologists descended into its abyss and found an aerial army of over 3 million Mexican free-tailed bats living in near-perfect harmony, sheltered beneath the Texas soil. With the help of acoustic sensors and thermal imaging, researchers have documented a nightly exodus that defies belief. These bats emerge in tight spirals, forming dark ribbons in the dusk sky, each one on a mission to consume thousands of insects, silently defending nearby farms from swarms of pests. The sinkhole's perfect acoustics amplify their sonar cries, turning the cavern into a subterranean concert hall of life. But while Texas delivers chaos cloaked in wings, our next descent takes us into a quieter terror, a Mexican sinkhole where floating islands drift eerily across boiling, sulfur-laced waters. Number 13. Drifting Isles of Elzakaton. What if the secrets to life beyond Earth were hidden not in the skies, but deep inside a boiling abyss in Mexico? That's exactly the question scientists began asking after descending into one of the planet's most phenomenal sinkholes, Elzakaton. In the humid region of Tamaulipas, this vertical chasm doesn't just stretch an astonishing 1,112 feet down. It holds the title of the world's deepest water-filled sinkhole and possibly one of its strangest. Unlike typical sinkholes carved by collapsing caverns, Elzakaton formed through the violent dance between acidic groundwater and volcanic heat, which melted limestone into a gaping shaft. Its scalding, mineral-rich waters are so extreme that they became a testing ground for NASA, which launched robotic probes in the 1990s to simulate missions to alien oceans, like those on Jupiter's moon, Europa. But perhaps the most surreal feature of Elzakaton floats right on the surface: drifting, grass-covered islands known as zacate, which move eerily with the breeze. These natural rafts give the sinkhole its name and add to its illusion of being suspended in a dream or a nightmare. Inside the sinkhole, researchers discovered extremophile microbes, life forms thriving in toxic heat and pressure. These microorganisms challenged what scientists believed was possible, suggesting that life could exist even in the most hellish of environments. Now, from the geothermal dreams of Mexico, we jet eastward to China, where a mega sinkhole opens wide enough to swallow skyscrapers, revealing a forest lost to time and untouched by man. Number 12. Colossal Crater of Xiaoai Tian Kang. When scientists first flew drones over a remote karst landscape in China, they weren't expecting to find a scar in the earth so massive it could house an entire city. But what they discovered was the Xiaoai Tian Kang, a geological titan buried in Fengjie County, the largest sinkhole on the planet. What lies inside is not just depth, but something bordering on an entirely separate ecosystem. Descending nearly 2,200 feet and yawning 2,000 feet across, this sinkhole, aptly nicknamed Heaven's Pit, is more than a freak accident of erosion. It's a time capsule, a two-stage doline carved over millions of years by underground rivers and tectonic tremors. The formation is double-layered, hinting at ancient collapses and subterranean passages no sunlight has touched in centuries. In 1994, a joint British-Chinese expedition scientifically mapped it for the first time. What they discovered wasn't just vastness, but life surviving in isolation. Botanists cataloged plant species unknown to science, clinging to the ledges like relics from prehistoric rainforests. Hidden caves, some still unexplored, revealed rare minerals and geological formations shaped before human civilization even existed. The deeper the team descended, the more alien the terrain became. Silent, untouched, and pulsing with mystery. But Xiaoai isn't the only place where time stands still. Thousands of miles away, under the tea-colored waters of a Florida river, another sinkhole was guarding a prehistoric secret of its own. Number 11. Sloth Sepulchre of Stein Hatchee River. It began with whispers. Fishermen pulling up strange bones from Florida's Stein Hatchee River. Some said they belonged to beasts too big to still exist. But in 2022, a team of scuba diving scientists plunged into the river's depths and uncovered what no one expected: an underwater tomb of Ice Age giants, hidden just below the surface. The sinkhole, resting silently beneath the river's murky waters, spans roughly 100 feet deep and was carved out by the slow, methodical erosion of Florida's limestone bedrock. Over thousands of years, this unassuming cavity transformed into a natural trap, silently collecting the bones of creatures who wandered too close to its edge. What scientists found inside was staggering. More than 500 fossils preserved in near-pristine condition. There were remains of giant sloths, saber-toothed cats, prehistoric tapirs, horses, and armadillos the size of small cars. The low oxygen environment and cool temperatures of the sinkhole acted like a freezer, slowing decay and perfectly sealing these relics in time. To retrieve them, divers used specialized vacuums and high-powered lights, sifting through sediment layer by layer like surgeons of deep time. The discoveries are rewriting what we know about megafauna extinction, climate shifts, and ancient migration patterns in North America. With this find, people realized that the Stein Hatchee River's sinkhole wasn't just a grave. It was a library of bones, sealed shut for 500,000 years. Number 10. Ancient Blade of Oscilla River. This looked like just another riverbed sinkhole, until divers reached the bottom and found something that shouldn't have been there. A stone blade, delicately carved, lying next to the bones of a mastodon and clumps of fossilized dung. It wasn't just old, it was 14,500 years old, and it would upend everything we thought we knew about the first humans in America. The Oscilla River sinkhole in northwestern Florida may only be about 30 feet deep, but it's one of archaeology's biggest bombshells. In 2016, underwater researchers plunged into its dark, sediment-choked waters and made a discovery that predated the Clovis culture by nearly 2,000 years, a revelation that forced scientists to redraw the map of early human migration. The sinkhole itself formed as limestone slowly eroded beneath the river, creating a pocket of still, oxygen-poor water, perfect for preserving ancient remains. Thanks to these conditions, researchers uncovered not only the blade, but also megafauna bones, ancient tools, and even trace evidence of butchering.
Megafauna bones that were brought up from 30 feet below the surface of the Oscilla River here.
All pointing to a thriving human presence in a time long thought uninhabited. With carbon dating to back it up, the find confirmed that humans lived and hunted in Florida during the Ice Age, reshaping our understanding of who got here first and how they survived. From Florida's ancient tool of disruption, we move north to South Dakota, where a hidden sinkhole lured colossal creatures to their deaths in a mass grave of giants. Number 9. Mammoth Mausoleum in Hot Springs. It began as a quiet search for water and ended in a mass graveyard of Ice Age titans. One by one, the mammoths fell. Lured by warm springs, they ventured too close to a steep-sided sinkhole. Slippery slopes and soft mud offered no escape. What should have been a drink became a death sentence. Hidden beneath the soil of Hot Springs, South Dakota, sits this 100-foot-deep limestone sinkhole, which was carved over 140,000 years ago by collapsing bedrock. But it wasn't until 1974, when a construction crew accidentally unearthed the site, that the truth surfaced. They had stumbled on one of the most astonishing fossil deposits ever discovered, a prehistoric trap that claimed over 60 mammoths, both Columbian and woolly, along with Ice Age predators like coyotes, llamas, and a rare short-faced bear. What makes this sinkhole remarkable isn't just the large number of fossils, but their condition. Encased in soft, silty mud, the bones were so well preserved that tusks still curved with menace and teeth still glinted with wear. Scientists have turned the mammoth site into an active dig and working museum, revealing new bones and stories every year. And thanks to 3D scanning, carbon dating, and painstaking excavation, this eerie pit now serves as a portal into the Pleistocene. Number 8. Maya Vault of Balamu Cave. When archaeologists first crawled into the crevices beneath Chichen Itza, they had no idea they were about to uncover one of the most sacred and untouched ritual vaults in Maya history. Hidden for over a millennium, this wasn't just a cave, it was a sealed spiritual chamber, holding secrets the jungle had long swallowed whole. Known as Balamu Cave, this 20-foot deep sinkhole wasn't formed by chance.
Mysterious findings inside this cave shed some light on ancient Maya rituals.
It was born when the limestone bedrock of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula collapsed, forming a natural vault that the ancient Maya later transformed into a ceremonial underworld. In 2018, a team of explorers navigated the suffocating, narrow tunnels with only headlamps to light their path. What they found was breathtaking. Over 200 untouched artifacts, resting exactly as they had been placed centuries ago. Among the treasures were incense burners, clay pots, ceremonial plates, and sculptures resembling Tlaloc, the Maya god of rain. These items weren't just discarded tools, they were spiritual offerings, deliberately hidden from both man and time. The cave's consistent climate had kept everything astonishingly preserved.
It was a ritual in Mayan tradition to use these hidden areas, galleries, which are difficult to access,
making it one of the most significant ritual sites ever found in Mesoamerica. Exploration continues today with delicate tools and 3D mapping, revealing deeper chambers and forgotten ceremonies. Even modern locals treat the cave as hallowed ground, and scientists follow suit. Balamu isn't just a sinkhole, it's a temple lost beneath the earth, echoing with the breath of ancient prayers. Number 7. Mastadon Mosaic in Gray Fossil Site. What began as a routine highway construction project turned into one of the most significant fossil finds in North America, because what workers first thought was just a pile of rubble turned out to be the bones of mastodons and long-extinct creatures, perfectly preserved in a forgotten pocket of time.
Crews are making new discoveries while finding pieces to puzzles found in previous years.
This is the Gray Fossil Site in Tennessee, a 100-foot-deep prehistoric sinkhole lodged quietly beneath the Appalachian Hills. This natural basin formed over 5 million years ago when groundwater slowly dissolved the region's limestone foundation, causing the earth to cave in and create a muddy trap. Over time, that depression became a lush watering hole for Miocene-era wildlife until it sealed shut and preserved everything inside. When paleontologists arrived on site in the year 2000, they didn't just find fossils, they uncovered a rich mosaic of prehistoric life. Mastodons, saber-toothed cats, ancient tapirs, and even alligators were found stacked within layers of ancient sediment, with many bones untouched by decay. The site's oxygen-poor, clay-rich environment helped shield even fragile plant material from decomposition. Using CT scans and careful excavation, scientists continue to unearth new species, unlocking secrets about climate change, migration, and extinction from a time long before humans walked these lands. Number 6. Phantom Pipe of Mels Hole. Buried in the Manistash Ridge near Ellensburg, Washington, lies a mystery that has refused to die. Mels Hole. It started with a radio call, one that would send shockwaves through the paranormal world. In 1997, a man named Mel Waters claimed he had discovered a hole on his property near Ellensburg, Washington, and that it had no bottom. What he described wasn't just a sinkhole, It was something that defied the laws of physics and reason itself. Mels said he dropped 80,000 feet of fishing line into the pit, and it never touched the ground. But the deeper he explored, the stranger things became. Animals lowered into the hole were said to return alive. Cameras revealed impossible structures, including a mysterious red pipe jutting from the dark walls. Then came the warnings. Government agents allegedly seized his property. Locals reported unmarked trucks. The site was suddenly off-limits. Geologists have dismissed the claims, arguing that Washington's basalt-rich geology would collapse under the weight of a hole that deep. Yet no one has been able to prove or disprove its existence. Expeditions in the early 2000s turned up nothing, but the legends won't die. Locals still whisper about strange noises echoing from the hills, flickering lights where no one lives, and photographs of that bizarre pipe that only deepen the enigma. Whether Mels Hole is a misunderstood natural feature, a man-made myth, or something far more disturbing, it has become one of the most infamous sinkhole stories on Earth. Number 5. Tortoise Trove in Sawmill Sink. It started with ghost stories. Local fishermen whispered of a bottomless pit off Abaco Island, a place where lights faded and life vanished. But in 2005, what cave divers found beneath those eerie blue waters wasn't a curse. It was a biological time capsule. This is Sawmill Sink, a 100-foot deep vertical cave known as a blue hole, formed thousands of years ago when a limestone cavern collapsed and rising sea levels eventually flooded it. The result? A water-filled hole completely cut off from oxygen and sunlight, creating one of the most pristine natural preservation chambers on Earth. Divers descending into the blackness navigated tight underwater passages with lights and guide ropes. What they discovered on the silty floor stunned the scientific world. The fossilized remains of a giant extinct tortoise, Chelinoidus alberiorum, a species never before seen by science. And that wasn't all. Around it lay bones of ancient crocodiles, birds, bats, and prehistoric plant matter, all preserved with haunting clarity. Carbon dating placed the tortoise's demise between 1,000 and 5,000 years ago, right as sea levels rose and humans began altering the fragile island ecosystem. The sink's anoxic conditions had frozen time, capturing not just one species, but an entire Ice Age island environment in near-perfect condition. Now protected, Sawmill Sink is a paleontological goldmine, offering rare clues into extinction, climate change, and life on islands once teeming with unique creatures. Number 4. Roman relic of Pantheon Sinkhole. In a city where the past hides beneath every stone, one ordinary morning in 2020 delivered an extraordinary surprise. Locals thought it was just another pothole. After all, Rome's streets are no strangers to cracks and collapses. But when the ground gave way in front of the Pantheon, what emerged wasn't just a hole, it was a portal into the age of emperors.
Dating back to the time of the Roman Empire, some of these slabs are still in their original positions.
The sinkhole, measuring just about 8 feet deep, didn't look like much at first glance. But as archaeologists arrived on the scene, it quickly became clear that this wasn't a simple infrastructure issue. The small cavity had pierced through centuries of urban buildup, revealing 7 ancient travertine paving stones, flawlessly preserved beneath layers of volcanic ash and Roman concrete, or pozzolan. These stones dated back to the reign of Emperor Hadrian in the 2nd century AD, and may have once supported the very feet of Rome's elite. Archaeologists carefully cleared away the debris, uncovering traces of inscriptions and structural planning embedded in the rock, clues that hinted at the city's sophisticated urban design. Rome is full of ruins and relics, but few are found so unexpectedly and so intact. Nicknamed the time-traveling pothole, this sinkhole didn't just expose ancient infrastructure, it connected modern-day Romans directly to their imperial past. From crumbling stones to an explosion of life, our next stop takes us far from Rome's ruins and into the shimmering waters of Belize, where a glowing underwater sinkhole hides vibrant secrets that shouldn't exist. Number 3. Coral Kingdom of the Great Blue Hole. At first glance, it looks like a portal to another world, a perfect navy blue circle carved into the turquoise Caribbean. But this is as real as it gets, and it's terrifyingly deep. The Great Blue Hole of Belize has baffled sailors for centuries, but when scientists finally descended into its heart, what they discovered went far beyond expectation. Stretching nearly 1,000 feet across and plunging over 400 feet deep, this massive marine sinkhole was once a dry limestone cavern.
The blue hole is massive, over 400 feet deep and 1,000 feet across.
As the Ice Age ended and sea levels rose, the ceiling collapsed and the cave was swallowed by the ocean. What remains is a natural wonder, an ancient hole filled with secrets. In 2018, a team led by Richard Branson and ocean explorers dove deep into the blue hole using submersibles equipped with high-resolution cameras. What they found at the bottom shocked them. Towering stalactites, remnants from when the cave was dry land, and a toxic layer of hydrogen sulfide sitting ominously at 300 feet, cutting off all oxygen and light below. Above that lifeless void, however, is where the magic happens. Thriving coral reefs, reef sharks, sea turtles, and rare aquatic life dance around the rim, defying harsh conditions. The Great Blue Hole isn't just a dive site, it's a living, breathing time capsule, drawing scientists and adventurers alike to its beautiful, eerie depths. But as we leave the Caribbean's sunken wonder, our journey takes us to an even stranger world, one carved not by water, but by fire. Next up, we head to China's volcanic plains, where a sinkhole swallowed a forest whole and kept it alive. Number 2. Shadow Forest of Tian Kang Sinkholes. It's not every day you stumble upon an entire forest growing inside a hole in the earth, but that's exactly what scientists found in China's Tian Kang sinkholes.
China scientists have discovered ancient forests with animals and plants they thought were extinct.
These massive holes, some plunging over 1,000 feet deep, are carved into Guangxi's karst terrain, a limestone region sculpted by time, rain, and erosion. Imagine peering into a hole in the earth so deep it swallows sunlight, and spotting treetops below. That's exactly what greeted scientists in 2022 when they descended into one of China's massive Tian Kang sinkholes. But this wasn't just a hole. It was an untouched world, hiding a secret forest that had flourished in silence for thousands of years. Formed in the karst landscape of Guangxi, these colossal sinkholes, some as deep as over 1,000 feet and spanning hundreds of feet wide, are carved by the relentless forces of groundwater erosion. Over millennia, the limestone beneath the surface dissolved, creating caves that eventually collapsed into vast vertical chambers. When botanists and cave scientists finally rappelled into one of these heavenly pits, what they found was nothing short of a real-life Eden. Inside was a thriving forest of towering ancient trees, reaching over 120 feet tall, along with rare ferns and flowering plants, completely isolated from the modern world. The sinkhole's steep walls created a natural shield, forming a self-contained microclimate, cool, moist, and sheltered, ideal for life that has remained undisturbed by pollution or deforestation. Some of the flora discovered may even represent entirely new species, sparking excitement across the scientific community. Drones and imaging tech now scan the region, searching for more of these verdant vaults that challenge what we know about Earth's hidden biodiversity. But while China's secret forest teems with prehistoric beauty, our final descent takes us somewhere far stranger, a dried-up lakebed in North America, where the only things thriving are organisms that shouldn't exist. This next sinkhole may hold the key to surviving on Mars. Number 1. Alien Mats of Great Lakes Sinkholes. At first glance, Lake Huron looks like any other peaceful stretch of fresh water, but beneath its calm surface lies a submerged world so bizarre it's drawn the attention of NASA. Hidden within its depths are sinkholes 20 meters deep, harboring organisms that look like they belong on another planet, not Earth. These underwater sinkholes didn't form by chance. Millions of years ago, Devonian-era limestone was slowly eaten away by ancient groundwater, eventually collapsing to form chemical cauldrons, saltier and more oxygen-starved than the surrounding lake. The result? An environment most life would avoid, yet something thrives there. In 2001, when divers and remotely operated vehicles descended into this void, what they saw looked straight out of science fiction. Vibrant purple microbial mats carpeting the sinkhole floor. These mats, made up of sulfur-loving cyanobacteria, don't just survive in these conditions, they flourish. Their primitive metabolism mimics the earliest life forms on Earth, dating back billions of years. Since then, scientists have been fascinated. Using robotic samplers, chemical probes, and DNA sequencing, they've been studying these mats not just to understand Earth's past, but to simulate alien environments. Speculators suggest NASA may be using data from Lake Huron to model how life might exist on planets like Mars or Europa, where harsh, briny waters and limited oxygen are the norm.
Low oxygen, sulfur-rich waters that are excluding typical Lake Huron plant and animal life.
From confused fishermen to international space agencies, the Great Lakes sinkholes have transformed from local mystery to interstellar laboratory, an unexpected link between Earth's ancient past and the search for life beyond our world. The Earth still holds countless secrets beneath its surface, so the next time the ground crumbles, what might be waiting inside? Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.